Before we start, I'd like to thank my friend Inari for helping me translate some parts of the Japanese manual of this game. I couldn't find a translated version of it anywhere on the internet, so if it wasn't for him, this video wouldn't be coming out anytime soon. So thanks a lot, dude. Okay, now to the video. Hey guys, check this out. I don't know if you have ever taken a look outside, but it's kinda hard to find food in here, and I was craving for something sweet for a long time, so I think it was nice to find one of this. I'm in. The can is a bit rusty, and I can't really see the expiration date, but I guess canned stuff lasts longer, right? No. It's a little dry, but honestly, it doesn't taste that bad. What? Oh, right. What's up, everyone? I'm Hapnix. Dynamite Headdy has caught my attention with its unique style. It is so different from a lot of stuff I've seen from this era. The game is very chaotic, with random stuff happening all the time, and the characters look so weird yet so cool at the same time. The world is very vibrant and colorful, and I don't really know the reason, but every time I see colorful characters, my brain always goes, oh. The game was made by Treasure and published by Sega in 1994. Treasure is a company founded by former Konami employees. They are responsible for some bangers like Gunstar Heroes, Wario World, Mischief Makers, and of course, McDonald's Treasure Land Adventure. Oh, and they've also worked on Geist Crushers. Bet you haven't heard of this one. The game had two versions released for Mega Drive, the original Japanese and an international one. The international version changes some of the sprites and the game's difficulty, with some bosses needing a lot more damage to be taken down. You also start the game with no continues, while in the Japanese version you will start with 2. Here the stages are named after movies and series for some reason. Some examples are Terminator 2, Mad Max, Star Wars, Twin Freaks, 4-Track, etc. This version also chopped a big chunk of the game's dialogues, so a lot of the story is lost. For this reason, I'll be using the Japanese version story for this video, via Midget's fun translation, and some stuff I got from the Japanese manual. There is also a port for Game Gear and Master System. It got its own differences, but I won't be talking about this version this time. The story takes place in the Puppet World, where toys from all over the globe live together in harmony. Everyone in this place was having a great time, but one day, Emperor Dark Demon, the self-proclaimed greatest puppet in the world, appeared. He started conquering the land, and choosing toys he deemed worthy to turn into minions for his army, while the ones he considered defective were thrown into the garbage. He then brainwashed the Keymasters and turned them into guardians for his hidden castle. One of the defective toys was Headdy, a 12-year-old puppet whom head fell off by the fact he was an old toy. Is 12 years enough time for a toy to be considered old? But he decided to use his disembodied head as a weapon, hitting his enemies with it. He then used it to escape from the trash collector, freeing his 4 siblings in the process, setting the stage for his big adventure. After setting them free a second time, we meet our greatest rival, Trouble Brewing, also known as...
Bahahaha! Fool! Since this is the first time we've ever met, I thought I should make an awe-inspiring entrance. My name is Maruyama. The Emperor has the utmost confidence in me. I'm one of his top henchmen. Here, let's see if you can take my super burning fireball ramming attack.
He's a teddy bear who also fled from the garbage. He considers himself the greatest bounty hunter in the Puppet World, and Dark Demon's top henchman, but he still needs to prove that he can be useful to him. We defeat him and arrive at North Town. Dark Demon's army has already passed here, so everything is destroyed and the citizens are very upset. Here is where we meet 3 important characters that follow us into our adventure. Fukung. He's these orange balls that are everywhere in the game. We can grab onto him to reach certain areas. Yakung. He's this angel guy who appears during the boss fights. He points where we need to attack them. And lastly, Mokung. He carries Headdy's heads. That's right. Headdy can change his head for a limited time to gain new abilities. There is a lot of them in the game, so I'll just mention some really quick. Slammer Head makes his attacks stronger and is able to destroy these boxes. Empty Head. He doesn't take any damage. Bomb Head, it explodes. Spike Head, let us climb the walls and ceiling. Vacuum Head, gives the suck. Pinhead, shrinks Heady. Head Trip is a pain in the ass. Sleepy Head, kills Heady while he sleeps. Ticker Head, Heady gains a stand. And Liberty Head. This one sends you to the intermission bonus stage. Here we have to score points with these balls, shooting them into these baskets with stars. Each time you complete a bonus, you get a random number. Complete it 4 times to get a password you can use after the credits. I'm really terrible at this, so I never really got past the second digit, but the password just unlocks a secret boss fight, so it's nothing that special. We then go ahead to save the town, fighting some soldiers along the way, with Buffman flexing in the background. If you take too much damage, you can use these jelly beans for healing, and these mini headies are the lives. We defeat some soldiers and find Shakomon? Or Clayto, or the Mega Man ZX Advent boss. Anyway, defeating him and destroying these fake prisoners, you gain a secret bonus point. They don't really do anything, but you get them by doing some specific stuff, like freeing Heady's siblings, hitting this fatty duck, or knocking Bino. He's this maintenance guy who may appear sometimes in the levels, or during the boss battles. Speaking about boss battles...
Blah, surprise! You probably thought that you beat me last time, but this time will be different. I don't know whose concert hall this is, but it will be your graveyard. Let's go.
Who dares to trespass in my hall? Hey, you're that scrap puppet who escaped. What in the world could that good-for-nothing bounty hunter be doing? Well, it doesn't matter. I'll capture you and claim the reward from the Emperor myself. This is Bounty, the first Keymaster. This orchestra in the background actually belongs to him, since he's always been a music lover. We're fighting a giant balloon dog with a puppet that throws his own head, while these guys in the background play the Nutcracker. This game really is built different, huh? This fight is pretty easy. Just hit him in the tail and try to not be stepped on. When he's defeated, his keys dropped along with his orange balls. If you collect 10 of them, you get a continue. When Heady tries to pick the key, this mysterious woman appears. This is Fingy, or Heather, and you know she's a girl because she's just like Heady but pink and with boobs. Well, at least I assume that's the case here, since I've never seen a woman in person. Or any other human being. She distracts Heady and escapes with the key. We then proceed to the town's underground, a place full of turning platforms and some froggers. Or bobs, I guess? Or paddocks? We try not to fall and beat some flying soldiers, when out of nowhere...
Bah, now you really made me angry. The time has come to put an end to your little adventure. What a pathetic hero, to have your story end backstage like this. Let's begin the next scene right now. It's time for Dynamite Maruyama's entrance.
A thing you may have already noticed is that Maruyama is like an opposite version of Heady. While we get upgrades by changing our heads, he changes his body instead. The one he was using at the start of the game is called Kuma Body. The one after this was the Octopus Trap, and this here's the Tail Hanger. He tries bashing us against the stage props, while he shoots mini Maruyama heads at us, but it doesn't take too long until we beat him again. After a quick nap, we find this scary clown, who turns out to be 2 dudes. Defeating both of them, we get to the next Keymaster's arena. You're a lively one, aren't you? But since you're being such a show-off, your story will end here. I'll let you watch my magnificent show beneath this starry sky. This is Jacqueline Dressy. They keep changing their outfits during the fight, this being a dragon, a ballerina, a robot, and sometimes Bino. Each one of them has a different moveset. We need to attack the different pieces of clothing and then hit their heart a few times, giving us the second key. But Fingy shows up again and takes it away. Damn dude, the second time? We continue our way and reach South Town. We can flip the scenario by pulling Fukung here, probably hurting a lot of the maintenance crew in the process. Here we meet Rebecca, South Town supervisor. What a lovely looking doll, what the heck? She's replaced by a giant robot called Mons Mag in the international version. After flipping the scenario 2 more times, we get to some kind of factory, with swinging and spinning platforms, and some of these boxes, so his lemur head is pretty useful here. But when we get to the Keymaster's arena, only Bino is here. Yakun appears later and tells us they've simply disappeared. But in the international version, he says Fingy defeated them before we arrived. Well, less work for us, I guess. Leaving South Town, we come across the Puppet Tower, but when we are about to start climbing...
Bah, Dret, from all places to come across each other. This tower is way too tall, but I'm brave enough to fight, even in a place like this.
Maruyama uses his Tower Crasher to cut whole sections of the tower trying to make us fall. It's a good thing bottomless pits aren't deadly in this game. We crash him down and get inside the tower. After passing through some obstacles and 2 sub-bosses, we reach the top and another Keymaster.
Well, you must be the famous Happy that I've been hearing about. It seems that you're collecting the wind-up keys, but surely you don't know how to use them, do you? Although it's pointless, unless you can remove Mai as well.
Motor Hand. He tries to squish us under his fists and, oh hey, it's Bino. After hitting him a couple times, he uses the power of perspective. We defeat him, drop another key, Thingy appears, and once again we are left with nothing. Headdy then prepares himself to jump from the tower to get to our next destination. For this section, we're introduced to some new heads. Featherhead throws up tiny birds. Rockethead shoots up a laser. Airhead shoots in 3 directions at the same time and can shoot to both left and right. Oh, and Bino's head, I think. Here the game becomes a shoot 'em up. We battle skyfishes, rockets, and a flying battleship, so you can get inside this aerial base.
Come on. Bahahaha! Did you really think that it would be safe from me in the sky? Even though I fell from such a high place, it didn't faze me one bit. Well, maybe I did cry a little, but you'll be doing way more than just crying when I'm through with you, cause you're definitely a weakling. Come on, I'm going to give you a good thrashing and then hurl from this fortress.
Maruyama appears with his grease wheel. My man is really persistent. He has come back 4 times already. He shoots energy blasts and missiles at us. I strongly recommend using Airhead here. It makes the fight a lot easier, since you can shoot to both sides. He hits a stop sign, and we continue our way through the base, until we find the last Keymaster.
Who is making a ruckus in my fortress? Oh, Big Brother, could you be the puppet who escaped? I know. If you play with me, I'll pretend I didn't see you.
Mitsuru, a giant baby face that opens up to reveal a teen's head, and later an adult man. The game becomes a full-on bullet hell here, and I gotta say, it was kinda overwhelming to me. The first 2 phases are nothing compared to the third one. Half of the screen is covered, and this guy shoots laser like crazy. This fight claimed a lot of my lives and even some of my continues the first times I tried it. But after some practice, it wasn't that hard anymore. When he becomes an old man, it gets way easier. He opens up a last time to reveal Bino? But if you get caught by his hand, he simply has a heart attack and dies. You know the drill. Key, Thingy, Headdy gets a bloody nose, and we end up with no keys. We drop where Dark Demon's castle should be, but everything seems peaceful here. We then meet this place's keeper, a woman called Yayoi.
You're Headdy, aren't you? We are very grateful for your courageous actions, but unfortunately, this is not the Emperor's castle. Please, don't put all those who escaped in danger. I implore you. Please, go away.
Don't do it! It's a trick! The castle really is here! We need to stop this puppet somehow!
What in the world? If it's come to this, then I'll make
You leave by force!
We must help Thingy by turning Yayo's back to her, so she can throw the keys into this thing here. After getting the last key inside, the castle's entrance is revealed.
As you can see, the keys were necessary to open the entrance to the castle. I'm sorry if I appeared to be using you. Please, be careful from this point on.
Help me! You know about the secret entrance to the castle. Who are you? Well, it doesn't matter who you are. I cannot allow you to pass.
This fight is one of the hardest in the game. Her attacks are too quick to dodge, and hitting Thingy by accident deals some damage on you. But there is a way you can cheese this fight. You can make one of her attacks go off screen, and when this happens, her hand will come back holding Mokung. Or Bino. In that case, you must try again. From here, you can either use the empty head and not take a single hit, or just use bomb head and explode her. In the international version, she was also replaced by a robot, who is simply called Gatekeeper. I also like this design a lot. With her and Thingy out of the way, we can resume our way to the castle. In the entrance, we're welcome to a bunch of giant missiles. You can use the pinhead to fit in these gaps on the ground, but I recommend using Spike and just stick into the ceiling. We destroy the missile launcher and finally get inside the castle. There we defeat Taro by hitting his balls. The smaller the ball, the bigger the damage it takes. Just be careful to not heal him by accident. Further inside the castle, we arrive at this area, where hitting these machines causes the screen to be reversed vertically. Here we fight Reverface, which was a nightmare to me. He shoots little guys when he's green, but when the screen is reversed, he becomes red, faster, and doesn't take any damage, and it's really easy to just be squashed by him. He made me lose all my continues the first times I fought him, and I was so frustrated that I used the stage select code just so I wouldn't have to restart the whole thing. But I ended up feeling guilty, so I replayed the entire game and beat him the right way. His hitbox got smaller in the international version, so he only takes damage in the middle of his ear, while in the Japanese it extends to his entire body. Well, at least he's got less HP here. But you won't believe who appears after this.
Bahahaha! Just what I expected of the Emperor's castle. To think that such an awesome body as this would be abandoned in a garbage dump. Well, since it would be a pity for you to be defeated so quickly, I'll play with you for a little while.
This bot is named the Spider Phantom. Phantom? He chases us and shoots some projectiles from time to time. You need to dodge them while also trying to not be crushed. Here we just need to survive until we get to the top.
The day of reckoning has finally arrived, my rival. I could have finished you off at any time. I was just having a little fun with you. It looks like the last boss in this game will be Maruyama. In the afterlife, you'll have all eternity to regret ever crossing paths with me.
What the heck? The machine malfunctions and starts shooting both of us. He tries to latch onto us so he can be saved, but he's too heavy. So, sorry buddy. Now that he's not gonna bother us anymore, we can finally fight the Emperor.
So you finally arrived, you worthless scrap puppet.
Smiley, get a hold of yourself.
Thingy, as I suspected, hypnotizing the Keymasters was a failure.
Yup, they're already starting to recover. Now listen to what I have to say correctly this time. You are
The greatest puppet in the world. I already know that.
His fight is supposed to be hard, but there is a way to cheese it as well. You can dodge most of his attacks using Pinhead. Heady's hitbox becomes so small that you can stay right next to him and still take no damage. In the international version, his life was nearly doubled, so it takes way longer to die here. We defeat Emperor Dark Demon, and the puppet world is saved. But then...
What? This body? The cool one wasn't me? It can't be. I'm the greatest puppet in the world.
Actually, that's who you're supposed to be awarded to. You're a badge of honor.
Huh?
You didn't hear the whole story and mistook yourself to be the greatest puppet in the world.
So I'm not a puppet, just a badge?
And it's my duty to find the greatest puppet in the world to present you to.
Well then, where is he?
He's right in front of you, of course. The puppet who just saved the world.
In the international version, there is no dialogue here, and Fingy simply gives Heady a hug. This was for sure one of the weirdest games I've ever played, and one of the hardest as well. There's always a lot of stuff happening on the screen at the same time, and the difficulty level, especially in the international version, borders on unfair sometimes. But the difficulty, of course, doesn't make the game bad. I just wasn't ready for it, and kinda bit more than I could chew. And when I started to get better, it wasn't bothering me as much anymore. I just wasn't built for hard games, I guess. But I love the way the characters look here. Every single one of them looks amazing, even the ones who look a bit silly. And the way the game just refuses to stay the same and is always changing with random stuff happening all the time can keep someone entertained for hours. So even with it being really hard sometimes, I still had a great time playing Dynamite Headdy. Way more in the Japanese version though. So, have you learned anything new today? I learned I'll never be eating anything from a rusted can again. Anyway, stay positive.